The High School Outreach Ministry is a partnership that was initiated by the Redeemed Christian Church of God Solution Center and the Kenyan Students Christian Fellowship. This partnership is aimed at reaching high school students within the high school environment with the gospel of the kingdom of God through Bible study, discipleship, leadership training, and peer-to-peer counseling.
The Redeemed Christian Church of God Solution Center has a vision for the children's ministry, and the vision is to prepare children and teens who are actually our students in the high schools from all walks of life for heaven. And we say in the vision that we reach out to children and teens who are within the sphere of our influence. And high schools are really part of that sphere.
The Kenyan Students Christian Fellowship is a national movement of Christian students in high schools. The KSCF is accredited by the Ministry of Education to regulate Christian religious activities in high schools through the Christian unions.
The Kenya Student Christian Fellowship is a body which deals with the high school ministry in terms of developing and maturing students in the spiritual way, so that again now as they are being developed intellectually, emotionally, socially, spiritually, we take care of that component.
The senior pastor at the Redeemed Christian Church of God Solution Center, Pastor Dr. Esther Obasike, had a growing desire to reach the youth, especially the teens in high schools. She therefore mandated the minister in charge of the Children and Teens Ministry at Solution Center, Mrs. Dorothy Mugane, to come up with a way to infiltrate high schools with the gospel of Christ. Mrs. Mugane in turn ran with the vision, and therefore the partnership with KSCF was born.
We started off by seeking partnership with the Kenya Students Christian Fellowship. It made sense for us to partner with them because they have inroads to schools, they have work they are already doing, and we thought it would be easier for us to plug in there and see how we can strengthen the work that they are doing.
My first encounter with RCCG was through Pastor George, who happened to be one of KSCF associate, and I will need to mention an active associate. He was running discipleship classes in some of the schools around town, and I did that very passionately. He could also sit into our committees to plan for events, and out of that we created a relationship towards ministry. Then through him, I was able to be introduced to Dorothy, who happens to be the team leader in the church. And she narrated her concern and how the church is really concerned to reach out to students. That's how the story began.
On the 7th of April 2019, we had the first Kenyan Students Christian Fellowship meeting, which was also a training that took place at the Redeemed Christian Church of God Solution Center. The training was an introduction to the KSCF as an organization.
We got in touch with them and requested them to train a critical mass of brethren who have passion for high school ministry.
We started with introduction with who is KSCF, because whoever is joining in KSCF, it's our trend and our tradition. First of all, we orient you to know who is KSCF, basically what we do, and then what we expect you to be doing when you go to schools.
This training gave an insight to the participants on what it takes to be part of the high school outreach ministry. It also showed us the ways in which we can infiltrate and penetrate into high schools using the gospel of Christ to preach to the students. The second training touched on the second pillar of the KSCF module, which deals with discipleship in high schools. After this training, high schools were then allocated to the various members as teams were formed, and each team having its team leader. At the end of this training, each member of the high school outreach ministries received a manual that will help them introduce the third pillar of the KSCF module, leadership, to high school students.
We plugged in, and of course now we formed teams that adopted schools, and so far we have about 13 schools that we are interacting with.
On the 18th of May, the Redeemed Christian Church of God Solution Center hosted the Kenyan Students Christian Fellowship Lang'ata Sub-County Christian Union Students Mega Rally. The rally attracted students from across Langata sub-county and drew in a total of about 300 students. The theme of the rally was Equipped for Sacrificial Service.
When you hear Lord, you think it is Lord Jesus.
Inclusive in the program were trainings carried out by KSCF and the career matchmaking sessions.
I've been a doctor for 16 years now, and by God's grace, I've also joined a teaching institution. So apart from doing my work as a doctor in various hospitals in this town.
During the career matchmaking session, the panelists first discussed in groups with the students about their career choices and their passions for various careers. Later, the panelists presented their own career journey, citing some of the hardships and challenges they had to overcome to get to where they presently were in their career. At the end of this rally, 21 students gave their lives to Christ. We give God all the glory. In May 2019, the High School Outreach Ministry commenced their activities in various high schools within Nairobi County. The Outreach Ministry divided its members into teams of 4 to 5 persons, each team having a team leader. These teams were to go into 13 high schools. Each team leader was to liaise with the Christian Union patron of the schools assigned to them to come up with a specific program and a mode of operation suitable for the individual schools. Since the High School Outreach Ministry began, there has been tremendous positive impact. So far, more than 30 students have given their lives to Christ and are currently undertaking discipleship classes.
Many have given their lives to Christ after hearing the word, and after going through such classes, they've given their lives to God.
After interacting with those members from the Kenya Student Fellowship and having those fellowships together, in terms of discipline and character-wise, it has really improved.
In high schools, many of those students that are working with us, you find that when it comes to the elections of who is supposed to be in the council, student council in the high school, you find majority of them become the leaders. They become the leaders. And for those that have worked, at least eventually, there is testimony even from the parents that these students are reformed, that there are people that are responsible, there are people that are doing right.
Langata Barracks Secondary School. In June 2019, the outreach team assigned to Langata Barracks Secondary School commenced their discipleship classes. Prior to this, there was no Christian Union in the school, and there was a general concern by parents and teachers on the bad behavior of some of the students. From this initiative, KSCF and RCCG have now formulated a Christian Union and currently have a membership of 30 students.
It has been a nice experience, especially on our learners, on our students. And so we've seen changes in these students. We've seen them coming, they are motivated to come to learn the word, especially on the Christian morals. And most of them are changing their lives. And so it is something good that we would like to keep on having in this school.
Elite Visionary High School. This school is located in Kibra and is another beneficiary of the High School Outreach Ministry. On day 1, after preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ to the students, 18 souls gave their lives to Christ. We give God all the glory.
In fact, there was no CU, there was no Christian Union in our school. But when I came, I introduced it and then introduced KSCF. And then the KSCF started sending ministers to our school from different churches and different sources. The level of our students in terms of their Christianity level has grown, and also we have the spiritual growth in our school has gone up.
Excellence High School is located in Kawangware 46 area. This is a Christian school, and as such, their Christian Union meetings are mandatory for all students, even the Muslim students attending the school. So far, 44 students have given their lives to Christ and are currently undertaking the discipleship training.
The role of Kenya Student Christian Fellowship in this school It has really molded so many students, especially when it comes to spiritual matters. We have 3 sisters who normally come from Kenya Student Christian Fellowship. They fellowship with us, they do mentorship, they do discipleship, and we thank God for them.
Tumaini High School. This school is located in Kibra and provides holistic education to the less privileged. The school has a vibrant Christian union. The outreach team's efforts have made a massive impact, whereas we see 33 students have so far given their lives to Christ. During discipleship, it was arranged with the Gideon's Bible Society to deliver Bibles to the school, as there was a concern that the students did not have their own Bibles. 200 Bibles were later donated to the school.
We have seen so many differences among the students. First of all, after 1 week, after they are coming here, they introduced Bible studies where they supplied the student with Bibles. From there, students have been able to use these Bibles in so many ways. Some of them can read those Bible, memorize verses. Some of them can able to pray for each other in the classroom. So it has been a good experience with this union, being around Tumaini High School. Every day the pastor comes in, he makes sure that some of them are born again. After being born again, he leads them the correct way. For example, introduces them to some lesson, how to maintain how they will carry themselves around being born again students. Yeah.
The Upper Hill Outreach Team has teamed up with CITAM, Christ is the Answer Ministries, who are already on ground to carry out discipleship classes together. The team has approximately 70 students who are currently undergoing their discipleship classes. Discipleship manuals have already been ordered for them to be delivered to the school.
Meanwhile, what we have been able to accomplish is discipleship programs and Saturday evening fellowship. The impact started when we involved CITAM to come and do Hell's Flame and Evans Gate play. Many students, they gave their life to Christ, and then we felt what next, because these students, they need to be nurtured. Some of them, they're very naive and ready to serve God, so we felt we need a very consistent program in the school. And now we want to reintroduce again discipleship class with the students. So we started the discipleship class with students, with 2 of the people from CITAM, not Adriva, but Thika Road, and they'll be doing it consistently.
The high school outreach ministry has not been without its challenges. Many a times there was a lack of cooperation with the Christian Union patrons who are already on ground in the school, or even some of the schools did not grant the team permission or access into their schools. There has also been a challenge of availability of more hands to join in this work, that we may disciple these children for the glory of God. The future of the high school outreach ministry is bright. Solution Center seeks to reach out to each and every high school in the country with the gospel of Jesus Christ.
The high school ministry is driven out of passion, and we have a vision we are chasing. Our desire is to grow beyond our immediate sphere of influence and begin to go to other counties. Our immediate sphere of influence is within Nairobi, of course, because this is where we are primarily stationed. But we intend to grow to other counties. We already have West Pokot County that is calling for our help. We have Turkana County, and these are counties that have not been reached very much at high school level. And we trust the Lord that with all these collaborations and partnerships, we can be able to go that other milestone and ensure that we reach every high school student for Christ and convert them to a disciple that can disciple their fellow students for Jesus.
I would recommend to the other schools in Kenya, because it is something that is there to bring change in the learners, especially in the youth of today, that we have so many evils around, like demonic worship plus other things, that the youths are going astray. So it is good for such a group of people in the schools. So we will recommend that it goes on in every school in Kenya, because many lives will be changed.
We plan to keep partnering with the Kenyan Students Christian Fellowship to make sure that the mandate that was given to us by Jesus Christ to go out and make disciples will come to pass.
You remember the scripture that says the fields are white, they are ready with harvest, but the laborers are few. So it's a challenge and a message to every believer. What are you doing for Christ to answer his Great Commission call in Matthew chapter 28 verse 20? I mean, how are you discipling people? How are you going? How are you making? Are you doing anything for Jesus? Do you want to join us? You're very much welcome.